Hi guys and welcome back to another video. Now today what I'm going to be bringing you is a video where we discuss the fact Bradford City have sacked manager Derek Adams. Now just before we get into today's video, if you could drop a like on it, if you could try and hit 80 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you are new as well. We are now on the road to 6,000 subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. Get your post notification bell on as well so you never miss a video of when I upload. Make sure as well to drop a comment in down in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on Adams being sacked and who do you want as next Bradford City manager? Share the video around with your family and friends as well. Now I have quite a lot to say on this matter. Obviously got announced this morning. There was not really many rumours, to be honest. We didn't really think this was going to happen. I personally didn't think the club would pull the plug until at least maybe November, December, even maybe January time next season. And it's happened only, I think, just over 250 days into a 3-year contract. Ryan Sparks has once again sacked another Bradford City manager. Now, we'll speak a little bit about Sparks and Rupp later on in the video because obviously, as much as Derek Adams hasn't been the greatest this season, I do think there's still other problems at the club. Please, before you comment down in the comment section down below, watch the whole video, listen to my whole thoughts before you have a rant or have a moan at just a little 1-minute clip that you've watched of what I've said. So please, watch the whole video, hear me out, and yeah, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into today's video. So Bradford City tweeted this morning at 8:56 saying, "The club statement, we have today parted company with manager Derek Adams." The statement does then read, "Club statement, Derek Adams. Adams arrived at the Utility Energy Stadium in June. Since then, he has taken charge of 37 competitive fixtures, resulting in 9 victories, 13 defeats and 15 draws. The club's chief executive officer, Ryan Sparks, said on behalf of the board, "It is with deep regret that we have come to this decision to part company with Derek Adams. A sustained period of consideration has led to this decision, and it is felt that with all things taken into account, the club must move in a different direction with regards to the role of first team manager. We would like to thank Derek for his efforts while at Valley Parade and wish him the very best for the future. Assistant manager Mark Truman will take caretaker charge of first team affairs with immediate effect, overseeing Saturday's Sky Bet League 2 match against Oldham." So even though we have sacked him, I mean, I presume we probably sacked him yesterday, right? And it's just been announced this morning. It'd be a bit weird if they called him in at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I don't know how far Derek Adams lived, but if you'd have made him travel all that way to sack him at 7 in the morning, I do think that would have been a little bit harsh. But yeah, Truman's going to be in for this match against Oldham, so I don't think we'll have our replacement lined up anytime soon. It obviously finally breaks the curse of a manager not getting sacked after playing Oldham Athletic. Truman was obviously our joint manager last season with Connor Sellers, who did leave the club. He dropped back to assistant manager this season, did Mark Truman. So on Saturday, we've got to give him some credit, and he'll finally get his applaudits and all that sort of stuff for the job that he did do last season, because we were destined for relegation under McCall, and then him and Sellers actually ended up guiding us towards a playoff push at one point, and then we just fell off a cliff towards the end. So good luck to the boys on Saturday. Now, firstly, we are going to speak about Derek Adams. Obviously, that is the main purpose of this video. Now, as much as I was Adams out, I'm not sure that this is the right decision. I think it might be the right decision, but it's the wrong time. Again, we've waited for a manager to have the January transfer window, and then we've given him, what, 1-2 games after he's had 3 games, sorry, after the transfer window has closed, and they haven't been great. We've picked up, 3 out of a possible 9 points, which isn't awful, obviously, if you just depend on it on the last 3 matches, but we've then sacked a manager after the January transfer window once again. We haven't learned from our lesson that this simply doesn't work. Obviously, it's great in hindsight to say, again, this wasn't the wrong appointment and throw loads of criticism again at Ryan Sparks. At the time, we were all, I wouldn't say buzzing, but we were all on board with the appointment. I, at the time, thought it was a good appointment. I was a little bit concerned by the 3-year contract. I think what we probably should have done was given him a 2-year contract and he gets an extra year extension if we got promoted, because a 3-year contract, now I don't really know how the compensation sort of works when you sack a manager, but from what I understand is he will be paid off for the rest of his contract. But I've seen some people on Twitter say we might just pay his wage until he finds a new job. He's been linked with the Aberdeen job already, so I'm not really too sure how that will work. But this season, with the ambition and the aims, it's just not really matched, has it? I think we're 7 points off the playoffs. He's had far than enough matches now to get it right, and it simply hasn't been right. We had some good matches right at the start of the season, though. Some of the football we were playing, especially in that match at home to Stevenage, we were absolutely fantastic. Then obviously injuries have hit, and I mean, even his team selections himself, some of the plays he's picked week in, week out, it's his own fault really. He's kind of dug his own hole in the end, because as much as I really wanted it to work with Derek Adams, he's far too egotistical. You're not gonna get the leeway that other managers would have got because of the way he speaks to the fans and he treats the fans, obviously, after the match, or it might have been during the match against Exeter. Allegedly, I've seen on Twitter, he told some of the fans behind the dugout to shut up and sit down who were maybe questioning his tactics or something like that, which you simply cannot do as a professional manager for the money he's probably on now. I don't know the money he's on, but hundreds or even thousands of pounds a week. You simply have to respect the fans, no matter, I mean, if they're being abusive and, you know, saying some horrible things, then fair enough. I don't know what was said, but from the outside looking in, you cannot talk to the fans like that who are paying their hard-earned money to come and watch terrible football, because at the start of the season it was pretty decent, but the way that he plays, it's just very boring to watch. Playing one up front at home, it's not really ideal. And I understand we had injuries. Angle and Vernon were key players for us, and they're both constantly injured, which hasn't helped his accord. But he was the one who signed Lee Angle. You know, we knew about Lee Angle's injury record. Now, I'm not blaming the whole fact Derek Adams being sacked on Lee Angle getting injury. I'm just saying it was one of his few signings that have worked out, because we think about some of the players that we've signed under Derek Adams, a lot of them have been very poor. I think I'm going to do a video tomorrow ranking all of his signings, because if I think about his signings, I think Songo's been pretty decent. Walker's shown he can be quality. Now, I don't want to miss anybody out. Andy Cook, I mean, can you really count that as Adams signing? He was always going to sign on a permanent no matter who the manager was after the second half of last season. Luke Hendry looks decent. Alex Bass looks inconsistent, but shown that he can play very well. But some of the other ones, I mean, Angle, again, he looks decent when he's fit. He looks like a really good player, but he's just far too injury prone. So for me personally, I think it's the right decision, just at the wrong time. But overall, I think obviously it does depend on the replacement. I think personally it is the right decision. Now, there's a lot of people asking for stability. Just because we've sacked a lot of managers previously doesn't mean that you can't sack Derek Adams, if that makes sense. We've had 13 defeats and 15 draws from 37 matches. I think he had less than a 25% win ratio, which it's just not very good, is it? We all know, though, in about, 18 months' time, he's going to be manager of Carlisle. They're going to come to Valley Parade. They're going to beat us like 4-0 with all our other former players will be there. Threlkeld will be there. Kelleher and all them sort of players. Gilead will probably be down at Carlisle, and they'll come and they'll beat us at Valley Parade, because that's exactly what happens every time somebody leads Bradford City. They go on, get a job which is nowhere near the standard of Bradford City, and then they'll just beat us, or they'll score against us, etc. So we all know it's going to happen. We all know that it's coming. Now we're going to speak about the potential replacements for Derek Adams. So I just typed in on the internet saying what are the current odds for the next Bradford City managers. So take these with a pinch of salt. But apparently the favourite is Grant McCann at the moment. I think if we got Grant McCann, I genuinely think we could still get playoffs this season. I think he's an absolutely fantastic manager. Was very unlucky to be sacked by Hull City. Obviously, they did have the recent takeover. He was doing a decent job for them this season. Won the title in League One last year as well. If we manage to get Grant McCann, I think that would be a fantastic appointment. Second favourite is Steve Evans. Now, I know this one will cause a lot of debate, and I don't really know is the politics the right word behind why our fans hate him so much. I know there was maybe a legal case a couple of years ago as well. I'm not really too sure, but as an actual manager, the job he did with Gillingham was very impressive. He obviously, he wants the job. Peterborough's chairman has said many times on his podcast that he wants Steve Evans to have the job. I think it could end up being a little bit like the Derek Adams situation, to be honest with you. Mark Truman's in there as the third favourite. Realistically, I don't see that happening. James Rowe, who left Chesterfield recently, again, I don't see that happening. I think he's got a legal case going on at the moment. Pete Wilde at Halifax, I think he'd be a decent addition, but he definitely wouldn't be my first choice. Richie Wellens, he's up there as well. For me personally, not too interested in that. I think he did a really poor job with Doncaster. Neil Warnock's on there as well. I mean, I definitely wouldn't say no to Neil Warnock until the end of the season. Benite Carbone as well, former Bradford City legends on there. You've also got Luke Gerrard at Boreham Wood. Lee Johnson, no, I think he's a known bottler, didn't do a great job with Sunderland, to be honest with you. I mean, they were doing all right, but not great. Jonathan Woodgate, we should stay well away from. Nigel Adkins is past it. Robbie Fowler, Paul Lambert's on there. John McGreal, all these people I just don't really have much interest in. Mick McCarthy and Keith Curl, both at 25-1 as well. Then you've got Chris Powell, Paul Ince and Sol Campbell. Dean Windass as well at 33-1. Kevin Nolan's even on there as well. Stuart McCall is also on there at 33-1. I was just scrolling down until he did eventually come up. So there's a lot of options out there. For me personally, my top three will be McCann, Evans and Neil Warnock. Let me know your manager down in the comment section down below. Who do you want to see come in as the new Bradford City manager? For me, I think Grant McCann would be the perfect appointment, but more than likely we'll probably go to League One. I just think even after the job he's done at Hull City, I can't see him dropping down to League Two. I think he did a great job at Hull in the end. Obviously, he didn't have a great season. I think the first time around when they were in the Championship, when they lost, was it Bowen and Grzyski in that January, and then they pretty much didn't win a game for the rest of the season, did they? So apart from that, I think Grant McCann is a fantastic manager. Did a decent job at Peterborough as well. So for me personally, I'd absolutely love Grant McCann. And to end today's video off, we're going to speak about Ryan Sparks and Stefan Rupp. We'll start off with Ryan Sparks on the job that he's doing now. From a business point of view, I actually think he's doing a very good job. He's got a lot more sponsors in. I just think footballing wise, it's not going great for him, is it? He obviously gave the contract extension to Stuart McCall for his first thing, then sacked him a few weeks later, brought in Truman and Sells, and, I think it would have been fair to give them until the end of the season. He gave them an 18-month contract and then removed them after only 6 months into that. Then obviously we appointed Derek Adams, which I've got to give him credit for. At the time, we paid money for him and it did seem like a great appointment. Maybe the length of the contract wasn't ideal. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of that contract, which obviously, legally confidential, I think the right word is. So I can't really comment too much on that. Maybe it was a little bit in hindsight excessive, but at the time I don't really think we had many complaints. And then obviously we've sacked him 265 days into that 3-year contract, which means he's probably got a massive compensation payoff potentially, or we're going to be paying him until he gets another job. Like I said, I don't think he's doing a horrendous job because he's getting in, loads more sponsors and all that sort of stuff, bringing in some income into the football club. But in terms of the footballing decisions, it's not going great for him. I think this appointment is kind of make or break for his job. It has to be a good appointment and it has to be right. It doesn't necessarily have to be an appointment that gets the fans on board. If he gets his promotion, you're going to get the fans on board regardless. And finally, we shall speak about Stefan Rupp. Now, I mean, where do we start with Stefan? Ever since he's come in, our league position has got worse and worse and worse and worse. And everything's changed around him. We've had different CEOs, different managers, different players, and nothing is changing. We are constantly on the decline. There's rumours and allegedly that he's taking between £300,000 and £350,000 out of the club every single year. Now, I don't know what the average is, but that seems like quite a lot of money, to be honest with you, for considering he's not really putting any transfer budget money into the club, is he? We haven't spent money on a transfer since last January. I don't think we were promised investment in January. Now, I don't know whose decision that was, but it simply hasn't happened. We haven't seen any investment in the January transfer window, have we? So for me personally, I'm Rupp out. I think Sparks probably could do with a different role, to be honest with you. Obviously, Adams has gone, so it didn't really make much of a difference, but I was Adams out. I did make that fairly well known. Obviously, some of the fans were starting to turn on me in the home matches as well. Leighton Orient got pretty toxic against Exeter as well. It got pretty toxic at times. So because of his character, because of how egotistical that he is, it was never really going to work, was it? Not a club like Bradford City. He has the underdog mentality, and it's not going to work when you're at the biggest club, by far the biggest club in League Two. It simply isn't going to work. Now, I understand we don't have a divine right for promotion. I'm not one of these deluded Bradford fans that think, just because we've got 14, 15,000 every week doesn't mean we have a divine right to go on and win the title with 1 million points, does it? So that's my thoughts on it. I'd really would be interested to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below on the whole Adams, Rupp and Spark situation. Who did you want in? Who do you want out? All that sort of stuff. Let me know who do you want as the next Bradford City manager as well. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure you drop a like on it. If you could try and hit 80 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that'd be absolutely class. Subscribe if you are new as well. We are now on the road to 6,000 subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. Get your post notification bell on as well, so you never miss a video of when I upload. As I said, make sure you get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Who do you want as the next Bradford City manager? Share the video around with your family and friends as well. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you all tomorrow for my thoughts on all of Derek Adams' signings so far. Peace.